Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Wrestling RHAPup podcast. I'm your host, Mari Forth, and with me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, the Seth Rollins to my Roman Reigns, Mr. Matt Scott. Matt, how are you doing?
You might as well have just pasted the snake emoji in the chat, Mari, because I don't know if that's the most flattering depiction. If it makes you feel any better, I wouldn't hit you with the steel chair. But that's me. I don't know if you would do the same. And I'm doing well. Happy to be here.
Yes.
Don't stab me in the back.
I won't. I should be saying that to you. This is the most fitting. Like we probably used them before, but I just felt right in my spirit this week. With what we got.
Yeah, feel the spirit deep
the
down.
spirit.
Yes, I'm
Okay, that's a
feeling it
little
today.
weird. Now you're making it weird.
I know.
I
am.
We have a great guest this week. Matt, can you do the honors?
Yes, I can. Because making her way to the podcast, the four-time Wrestling RHAPup guest from the T-Dot, the T.O., the Big Smoke, Hogtown, the 6, Hollywood North, Little York, and the home of such icons as Trish Stratus, Christian Cage, Gail Kim, and the Rated R Superstar Edge, the scholarly, sophisticated, spectacular, sensational, stupendous, Stella Scuseyou, aka the gifted, gleeful, grounded, glistening, glorious, graceful, gracious host of RHAP's new Sports RHAPup podcast, the great Grace Leeder.
Wow, that was impressive. That's a lot.
He fit 8 Wordle words in there. Like, what is happening?
He said he wanted some inspiration.
Yeah. I'm glad to be back. Thanks for having me. I'll be the Dean Ambrose. If you're Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, I'll be Dean Ambrose / Jon Moxley. Is that my role today?
Let's
head out.
Go for it.
Feels apt. Yeah. You come in, get the pop, and leave.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Head out.
Oh my God, Grace, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. 4 times. I can't believe that. That's a lot.
I almost thought it was 5. When he said 4, I was like, that's it?
Yeah. Just 4.
No. There's a reason. We love to always have you on. Like Matt said, you are very knowledgeable.
Yes.
Sorry, my tea is kicking in. All right, so
it's the most wonderful time of the year, the Royal Rumble. No matter how much we get, if we're not loving everything that's happening on our TV sets in in the wrestling ring. Well, the Royal Rumble's there to cheer us up. So we're on the road to WrestleMania, the road to the Royal Rumble. Fun time.
I truly think that the Royal Rumble is probably my favorite of the big 4. Honestly, because even you can get let down in WrestleMania sometimes,
Yeah.
But the Royal Rumble, no matter, even if the person you don't like wins, normally you always leave somewhat satisfied with some of the spots you saw. So and it was my favorite pay-per-view seeing live. So
I've never been to Toronto, so I so desperately want it to come.
One day, or we'll bring you to them. Maybe
we can
all go to the Rumble together.
Oh, that would be a delight.
It's so fun. It's so fun, and there's nothing like watching the Rumble live in the moment because you just don't know what's going to happen, which they love to play up, but it's true. So
very true.
I'm excited.
I love Rumble season. So what we don't love about Rumble season, we did get a few injury a few injury updates this week. So literally I think we jinxed her, because as soon as we went off of air basically last week talking about Sasha Banks, she said it's good, so hopefully everything's okay. Mere hours later, the news dropped that Sasha Banks is out 6 to 8 weeks because she broke her foot, she broke a bone in her foot. So that's really sad. She kind of confirmed. She was like, "Oh, y'all ladies are lucky. I'm not in the Rumble. Something to that effect."
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it's a work. We're all hoping it's a work. Everybody hopes we're gonna get the John Cena Madison Square Garden entrance and win. Because I was just saying last week I wanted Sasha to possibly win the Rumble. So And normally, I can't remember if we've talked about this or not, Matt, but I always feel like when WWE gives you a time, like 6 to 8 weeks,
They lie.
normally yes, exactly. it's when it says the superstar is out indefinitely that you're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, that's really sad. Grace, what do you think?
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, the sort of, if there is a bright spot to the Sasha Banks injury, is that potentially doesn't leave her out of WrestleMania, which would be a bummer. 6 to 8 weeks puts her back, early March, so plenty of time to build up to something. So yeah, that's at least one bright spot.
I just I said to you, Mari, all I want is for Sasha to get a nice medical boot, some icy hot, some tape, just like wrap it up. Like you only need one foot to hop down to the ring and to win. And
we do not advocating performing while injured. Matthew,
this is it's my personal feelings, not reflecting that it's the podcast. But no, seriously, I hope that she recovers quickly and is doing well and in good spirits. And
there was a record-breaking match this week. We could Sasha Banks. She doesn't have to compete that long.
She doesn't.
That's true. That's true.
She could just do the entrance thing, maybe do a little bit of that dance, and then I'll be happy. But yeah, I mean, I do hope that they didn't have like big plans for her at the Rumble. And from something I read, I think in Fightful, because I'm a patron of Fightful and they give some sneak peeks, they were saying that for a while, like from the time that Sasha injured herself, apparently they've sort of thought like, okay, let's factor her out of plans. So to me, what I read, I mean, anything could happen, things could change, but I'm assuming that we will not see Sasha Banks at the Rumble. I'm assuming this isn't a work, but you never know with wrestling. It's exhausting that way.
Bailey's expected back before WrestleMania 2, right? The timeline there. So like there's some interesting stuff that could, those two have history. There is something to like, one of our favorites, keep them on TV even while they're injured, give them something. But there's also something about, a time away, absence makes the heart grow fonder in some ways. So
yeah. And I think it's all about timing too, because like I think now's a good time for Sasha could take time away without it being a huge issue at this point. It's not like she was in the middle of anything huge. So, let's another Sasha return. Always love it.
Yeah,
exactly. We also got word that Xavier Woods injured his plantaris muscle, so he too is out 6 to 8 weeks. So, man, you really hate to see it because Xavier Woods was doing his King of the Ring run, a run that he had been advocating for so long. Again, 6 to 8 weeks is not long. It could still factor him in for WrestleMania. I just hope there's still a spot for him when he comes back. Kofi, I think we were talking about Kofi will be entering the Rumble himself, but Xavier announced it on I think G4 TV earlier this week. So
yeah, and I think last week too, speaking of jinxes, that I believe it was Stan who mentioned this idea of Woods winning the Rumble.
Oh
Yikes.
Man, we need to stop talking. Apparently,
I know we're not helping anyone out. Sorry to King Woods and to Sasha. We're just gonna, if this keeps up, like I don't know what we're gonna do, but maybe we should just start predicting things that we don't want to happen.
Yeah.
We did get some good news though. Corey Graves is cleared to wrestle.
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah, we definitely got a question. We got a question from Mike Edwards in the Job Has a Squadcast Facebook group. He asked, Corey Graves has a great career behind the desk, but now that he has been cleared, do you think he'll try to get back in the ring? Yes, I don't know.
Wait,
I truly don't know.
So I think the question here is like, does Graves have a run in him as like, a weekly wrestler, or at least like somebody who's in it consistently? Or does this just open the door a little bit to, it's been a while since we've had the old announcer is wearing his attire at the booth and his number is called at the Rumble. I can see that. The other thing that I saw that could be a fun role for Corey Graves is he could move into some sort of like a Bobby Heenan role where he could still commentate, but maybe be a manager of sorts, because what this opens up for him is the ability to, like, as that sort of like Weasley manager, to get some comeuppance if he you know, in a feud. The problem with like having a manager who can't take a bump is that the good guys can never hit them. Now they can. So that could be fun.
That would be great. I honestly was thinking stick him with Carmella. Because that could be a good run. Like I love a good love story in WWE. Am I a Graves and Carmella fan? Meh. But am I a Graves fan, should I say? Meh. Love Carmella. We've always said that Carmella is a good worker and she's pretty good at anything they give her. She just hasn't found, I think she hasn't found her character. The last good character she had was Miss Money in the Bank. So I think if you stick her with Graves, who, you know, people are, you don't, every couple that are actual real couples don't need to be couples on screen, but this could be really good for the both of them. It's not like, you know, when they shoehorned Seth and Becky together for no reason other than they were both dating and both champions. So that could be great. I think I don't know. I would love the whole, you know, commentary, like just being able to get physical, but also do commentary. That'd be cool. I think we got a question of, I think Edmo asked us about Pat McAfee. Do we think Pat McAfee and Corey Graves would enter the Rumble? That would be really
as
great.
tagged. Okay, I was going a different direction, but them entering the Rumble, it could happen. I mean, and
that would be cool. I wouldn't mind, y'all. Like
it could be. It could be cool. Spots. I think with both of, there's something fun about like the parallel of them both entering the Rumble. But the thing that kind of sucks about the Rumble is, do you want them in the Rumble, or is there, and this is the thing about the Rumble, you never know who's going to be there. You never know who's being considered. So I'd be happy seeing them, but there's such a long list of people who could potentially enter the Rumble that I don't even want to think about it at this point, but it's not a bad move.
For the men, they have not, like the women, they have basically announced 20 women out of the 30. For the men, I think it's only been about 10 or so. So, and for the men, we haven't heard, you know, we normally hear a little bit of rumblings around this time about like, who may be able to do this. I think this Corey Graves news is a rumbling. I would be honestly surprised if he's not in the Royal Rumble. You know what I'm saying? So
I used to be a big like, give it to the active roster people, you know, don't take it. I've since, you know, moved on. One of my favorite Rumble, there's a really weird Rumble, I think it's in like 2011 or something, where there's like Hornswoggle, Michael Cole, like Jerry Lawler, they're like all in the Rumble. I think like who was Alberto Del Rio's, right? It is the 40 man. Who's Alberto Del Rio's former ring announcer?
Ricardo.
He's in it. And it's honestly like, it's a very silly Rumble. It's one of my favorite. Like, am I worried that like Corey Graves and Pat McAfee are stealing a spot from like Mansoor and Shanky? I don't know.
Like,
I mean, no. And I'm with you.
Champions. It's the champions are Brock and Roman. So I mean, there's only but so many people who are going to be able to win that spot in order to be feasibly a contender for either one of them. So
that was a great example, by the way, Grace. Like, you know, Mansoor and Shanky, for example, like I would personally, and I'm sure a lot of people feel this way, it kind of sucks. Like, you want people to have opportunities on the show, but like, I would rather have, I think most people would probably rather have like Corey Graves and Pat McAfee in there just for the pop and for the moment. Like, that's what the Rumble's about. As opposed to like, you know, Shanky being someone who gets clotheslined out by nothing against Shanky.
Nothing against Shanky. No, and Mansoor could be fun in the Rumble. Him and Cesaro, the little team there. You know,
exactly. And Shanky could be fun in the Rumble.
So
Okay. And so I mean, it's very interesting to think about. I think we have a review, right, Matt?
We have a review. And thank you for the reviews. If you want to leave us a review, there are places to do that. I'm sure we'll plug it in a second. But in our Wrestling RHAPup podcast feed over on Apple Podcasts, the review says, Matt and Mari are a dynamic duo. 5 stars. Mari and Matt are very knowledgeable about wrestling. I appreciate how much time and energy they put into their content. As someone who knows very little about the wrestling space, they even make wrestling newbies feel welcome. Can't wait to hear more content from them. I feel like such a jerk reading a positive review about us, like just gassing us up. But like, thank you.
Want me to read it? I can read it for you.
Oh, yeah, read it again.
Yeah, read it again.
Yeah, I thank you for the review and for the love, and please leave us reviews. It lets people know that like we're like not horrible, but also it helps other people find the podcast. Thanks again for the love and kind words.
Right. And if you want to email us, you can send an email to wrestling@RHAPup.com. You can also find us on social media on Twitter at Wrestling RHAPup, and then join the conversation by using hashtag Wrestling RHAPup. And of course, we're in our unofficial Facebook group. Job has a Squadcast. Let us know if you want to be invited to that Facebook group, and we'll hook you up.
Super
if you want
exclusive,
exclusive,
but we'll hook you up.
Yeah. We also have please subscribe to our podcast feed. You can go quickly subscribe at robhasawebsite.com/wrestling feed. That's where you can subscribe to any and all podcast platforms. Also, we're hoping you're looking at our faces right here, right now on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Rob Has a Podcast, Wrestling RHAPup. You will find us there. Subscribe and get notified whenever we drop a video. And of course, we're on Patreon. RHAP has a Patreon where you get exclusive content for becoming a patron. So go to www.patreon.com/RHAP to join a wonderful community where you get to do patron games. We have patron Q&As. We play Patron Mafia. It's very fun. So check us out.
Yeah, and while we're talking about patrons, I mean, it's the middle of the month, so like maybe not. You might want to wait. You might want to wait until the start of the month because you get charged for the full month. But Grace, you're here. Speaking of patron games, like, I know that you've hosted and organized some. What are some of the patron games that you've hosted and organized?
I've done Patron Taskmaster. Taskmaster, a British comedy show where 5 comedians have to complete tasks. We bring patrons on and they have to, it's kind of like we made it like your own home scavenger hunt, like find the best blue thing in your house. And then Rob as the Taskmaster ranks them. That's really fun. I've played in Patron Mafia. Yeah, there's lots of very fun stuff. There's a well of content there, and then always new stuff happening, and you can jump in. If you ever want to just chat with Rob Cesternino, I feel like that's like the biggest reason to become a patron for a lot of us. We're like, I just want to talk to Rob.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we will just take a quick break and we'll be back. Okay, let's get into the highlights of the week, shall we? Last week, we talked about, new champions being crowned. And I mean, this week, all the champions brought their A game. I think the real question is, who is the A champion? And we got to start off on Raw. We started getting the build to Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. They had a face-to-face. It was some very good promo work by the both of them, may I say. Lashley did a great job here as a face. Like, it's still kind of mind-boggling to me that Lashley's a face. Not that I didn't think he could be a face, but that he's a well-booked and still very likable, rootable face, because we all know WWE struggles with that. But he did a great job here, just like congratulating Lesnar, saying it's an honor to stand, alongside him, basically leading up to he's gonna want to beat him. And Lesnar, and he actually tells Lesnar that Lesnar was ducking him for like 20 years. And then Lesnar basically shoots back and was like, I'm sorry, who are you? You were the one who had to get famous to be on my level. I was like, dang, these were some really good fighting words.
Yeah.
Just real quick on the whole back and forth between Lashley and Lesnar. What did you think about this, Grace?
I am intrigued by this matchup. I mean, it's, I love a good wrestling match, but I also love, I kind of love the Brock Lesnar of it all, where like this match is probably going to be like maybe 10 minutes. If it goes 10 minutes, that's like quite the surprise. And so I'm pretty excited to see these two guys fight. I think that it's intriguing. It's sort of one of those like matchups that like we just actually haven't really seen. I know they were both in the 5-way at day one, but a one-on-one matchup between these two. I don't think Lashley stands a chance here, but it'll be fun to see. I think it should be good. And I can see Brock putting, my problem a little bit with this promo is that Lesnar does not put over Lashley at all. Like a little.
I agree with that.
This is the like the old dilemma. It's a big critique I had of The Rock for a long time, that like he would make fun of his opponent and say, I don't know who you are. So when he beats him, who cares? You don't know who that guy is. But I can see that Brock will eventually like put over Lashley in this match. Not that Lashley will win, but Lashley should look good in this Rumble match, hopefully.
That is the good thing about Lesnar. He sells. Like he will actually sell in a match. Well, and for people he likes. Yeah. Right. When it's going good. So we saw it in that Fatal 5-way actually. Matt, any what do you think about this before we talk about the whole Hurt business of it all?
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of ties into that where Lashley got punked out. He got punked out by Lesnar here, in my opinion. Like the worst thing, I love what you're saying kind of about this. Like, I don't even know who you are. Like, I almost feel like the writing team should just throw out that phrase because it doesn't, I don't think it helps anything. Like, what does it accomplish other than kind of sort of like burying the person on the other end?
Well, the funny thing is, I think it actually, for me, I think it kind of, but it's Bobby Lashley, so that's why he can survive that, because we all know, who Bobby Lashley is. He could survive
it. He could survive it.
Yeah,
but even then, like, do you feel like that line like adds to anything?
So I think the idea here is that it fuels Lashley, right? It fuels Lashley, like you're like, and the difference between when The Rock would do it, The Rock was the good guy, which like that was the Attitude Era. It's the era of like Stone Cold is a good guy. At least here, like Brock, you're lying. You're lying that you don't know who Bobby Lashley is. You know who Bobby Lashley is. So it.
Definitely talked about him before at some point in some kind of interview, right? But I think the thing that's cool, just to like build on what you're saying, Grace, is how it really seemed like that fueled what we saw with the Hurt business, of course, and Lashley's outburst, which inappropriate in my opinion.
I don't understand what they keep doing with the Hurt business here, man. Like, one minute they're not together, then they conveniently bring them back together to help Bobby, then they go away for weeks on end. Bobby's doing his own thing, then they come back. Like, before this confrontation, the Hurt business came, and they're like, yeah, Bobby, we can't wait, we're gonna help you, the Hurt business is back together. And then Bobby's like, I don't need you guys. And it's like, what? Why? Well, you could have, everybody could use help. And then so of course then the Hurt business tried to come out and hurt Lashley, but Lashley, like Matt says, takes his rage out on the Hurt business. It was just like, I just don't understand what it's like a plot. It's the Deus Ex Machina or whatever. If they literally use the Hurt business to just move the plot for Lashley in whatever direction they need it to.
I imagine that they also need Bobby to be a little bit engaged while Brock potentially is not here for the next potentially 2 weeks. I could see him at least one of these 2 weeks not being there, so giving Bobby
that makes sense.
A handicap match or whatever.
Poor Cedric and Shelton.
Yeah. And you know what? Can we just say Bobby Lashley is a horrible boss? And if I'm Steady or Shelty, like I'm getting out of there. Just quit and get a new job. This man does not have your best interest at heart. I don't care what he's
no Bossy Lashley.
He's a Bossy Lashley is horrible. And frankly, like you could come work at the Wrestling RHAPup. We'll take you in. Mari will never beat you up. I'll never beat you down. And we're not the Hurt business.
Yeah,
we're the
Bobby
love
Lashley
business.
Is no Rob Cesternino. That's for
no
sure.
Rob Cesternino. Yes.
Yeah. What I did like about Raw this week too is we got a lot of good movement in the women's division, like building towards the Rumble with a few different segments here. So last week we got a question from Kristen Jakowski. She said, What do you think of Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH's tag team? It's seeming that it's starting to die down, while the similar RK Bros seem to remain pretty strong. Both teams have a similar personality dynamic, so I'm interested in thoughts about the storylines veering in different paths. Well, I mean, I know.
I love that question though.
It was a great question. It's a great question.
Yeah.
Because like it's kind of funny because RK Bro, they just lost their championships last week. And so in this week we got it was almost like a therapy session in the ring. It was like, oh, what's wrong with you? Why don't you like me? Yeah. And
lots
then
of therapy.
They hugged it out. Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH hugged it out, but of course we all knew. We were like, okay, who's kind of turning on who? Nikki turns around and hits Rhea Ripley.
It was a good throat cross chop.
I mean, seeing how Nikki is like
Grace, I didn't know. Yeah, good. Everyone, you gotta love a good throat punch.
Look good. Look good.
So yeah, also everybody listening, if you're listening, you can always go to the YouTube. Matt has some really nice pictures pulled up for reference. He has a great picture of Nikki throat punching Rhea Ripley. Also, all of these clips that we're talking about can be found in our highlights of the week, a very handy dandy playlist in the show notes and show description. But yeah, so it's kind of like, I mean, if you've been listening, you know my stance on this team. I hated that they made them a team to begin with. I thought they were doing really good as singles competitors until they ran into the brick wall that is Charlotte, and then was thrown into a makeshift tag team. Mm-hmm. So I never bought into them. I thought that they both could do better alone. So it will be interesting to see if Nikki ASH, like if this is, I don't know. I didn't really take it as a heel turn. I don't know. Am I wrong in that? I kind of just took it as the partnership was over in a sense. But
no, it's a heel turn. Yeah, it's a heel turn. Plus, like
the girl in the sparkly costume is the heel,
Mari,
as opposed to the girl in the all black.
I'm pretty intrigued by this. I'm intrigued by the what does the superhero who thinks she's she's almost a superhero now? What is she? Yeah, how does it? I can sense a little bit of
that'd be kind of cool.
Anybody here? The Boys? Does anybody watch The Boys? You know,
love The Boys.
Yeah. So Homelander. Do we get some Homelander here, where Nikki is high on her own supply? She's almost a superhero, but she's
I love a delusional heel.
So a delusional heel I could see. And I quite like, because I thought, okay, well, Rhea's going to turn heel here, and she doesn't. And I think that I think she's good in either as a babyface or a heel.
Yeah.
So I don't really mind that they, and Nikki, I think, is a very good, has been a very good bad guy in the past. So I think this is fun.
Yeah. And you know what? I'll also say I knew something was up the moment that Nikki ASH, I can't even say her name. ASH, Ash. Is it ASH officially? Do we?
I wish it was Ash. Now? I don't know why they do.
I say it all the time. I don't.
She looked like a heel from the beginning. It was the Brazilian blowout for me, where I said she has something special going on tonight. And honestly, it was nice. It was fun. It was fun to see her walk. I mean, what, am I wrong?
No.
Go back.
Yeah,
you can tell.
Yeah, her hair
was looking
late.
a little bit more heely today. I don't know what it was, funny. But no, it was like this segment went on so long. I do appreciate that they set this up before the Rumble, because it adds more intrigue and stories to the women's Rumble. And it, it's always good to get those stories coming in, because we look back to Survivor Series, where it just kind of felt like everyone was thrown into their matches and we didn't get the build. So I love that we're getting a build.
I feel bad for
their friendship.
I love the mid-card feud where two people are not happy with each other, and one of them is in the ring, and then the other one, the countdown comes and they just go right for the person that they're feuding with. It's it's such simple booking, but I love it so much. So mark my words, Nikki ASH will be in the Rumble. Rhea Ripley will come out and go right for Nikki. It's going to be great.
We love it. Amazing. We love it. Oh man, yeah. I hope she starts wearing black. That's my one critique for Nikki ASH. Just like go from blue to black, and then it'll be like, oh, now she's evil.
Look of it, she's her like evil. I'm a superhero and everyone hates her. I kind of love it.
Yeah. Oh no, she could be a hero, just like the evil version. Like maybe she should wear navy blue instead of like bright blue.
That's what I would need to make this work, because like
Blue.
I'm a big fan of Joe Gacy because I love a good heel. We all know I'm a huge fan of Right to Center. We all love a heel who think they're doing good, but they're clearly not. So if she can do that, like straddle that line, I would love that way more than like a complete like everything's black now. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
I don't want her. I don't want her to throw out the costume at all. That would be kind of sad. As great as she could be without it, like let's keep going with
I mean, Nikki's played, and she's done this before, so maybe that's not where they want to go, but she's played sort of the like, she was in Sanity. So give her this like slow descent into madness where like eventually at some point down the line she like embraces her villainous, but like getting booed as the hero, and it like her not understanding why. I think her friend just told her she doesn't want to team with her anymore. I think it could be really fun. So
yeah, we'll see. I in the very least, I want to see where it goes. I think Rhea Ripley should have been a star by now. So we'll see what they do with her as well. We also got Alexa in a therapy session here as well.
Make sure you emphasize those air quotes, therapy session.
Yes. Counseling, maybe it was.
They called it therapy. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was nothing of the sorts.
Nothing of the sort.
Listen, if my therapist had those ticking balls in the thing, I would be mad too. I would not be happy. That's very annoying.
Yeah, keep your balls out of the office. Like no one needs that.
Honestly, for me, the segment did nothing. I don't really care about the segment, but what I care about is what the segment represents. Because first off, Alexa's clearly coming back. Everybody was like, will she be a surprise entrant in the Rumble? I think this means like she'll definitely be in the Rumble, but the whole talking point of Alexa Bliss is ready to go. We basically all knew she was gonna be in the Rumble, and everybody kept saying, well, will she still be like the doll, crazy, whatever you want to call it, magical Alexa, or will she be something different? And people were already complaining ahead of time, saying, oh, if Alexa just turns up in the Rumble with a different like a different gimmick, then that's going to be stupid. I didn't care either way, but I think this is the perfect foil to at least prep us like something's going to change, and this is the perfect way to do it in a sense, like other than doing like vague vignettes or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm here for it.
It's like, is it like something going to change or nothing's going to change? That's kind of where I am. Like what?
Right. Yes, you're right. It opened the door for you to kind of wonder which way it's going to go.
Sure. Yeah, and it's a story for the look how much like content there was this week on Raw for like the women's division, which like for many years they get maybe one segment. It's a big critique I have of AEW that they have a great division and they don't do anything with it, and to get like many segments, and this one is just character development for Alexa Bliss. So I'm kind of okay with it. It might lead nowhere. It might lead somewhere. Let's see.
They said on her Instagram she did like dye her whole head pink, a la like old Liv Morgan. So maybe we might get a change or something. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they take her and her character. But honestly, it won't matter because she sells merch. People love her. So I'm interested to see what the next iteration might be, or if we do stay. I just don't see them staying with the supernatural character, because we've talked about the problems with a supernatural character when it comes to wrestling. Again, for me, like only the Undertaker has really managed to really keep that going for like 2 decades, 3 decades plus, whatever. And I just for supernatural characters, like why do you want the belt? And if you want the belt, why don't you, with her mind control powers, why don't you just have somebody lay down for you? So, whatever. Okay. I'm excited to see what she brings.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see where it goes. It'll be fun to see where it goes, right? And
Yeah.
but like in the context of this segment, do you feel that Alexa was justified for her actions against her therapist? I did see his degree on the wall, so I do believe he's a real therapist. Yes. I'm sure he's totally real. But do you think she was justified? Like, I kind of felt like this therapist was not doing a good job. He just showed her like a very triggering video and then she freaked out. Like, that's not
Yeah,
that's not it.
didn't like you gotta like walk. You gotta like walk people through it. You can't just like WWE needs to invest in better therapists. I think
where's
we've
Dr.
seen
Shelby?
That it does not work that often. Dr. Shelby. Yeah, he's the only one we can count on.
I do worry. I worry a little bit that like your fear that like or your hope that the supernatural stuff is going away. I mean, she uses it in this segment. The one thing I could see is her, as she goes through therapy, she's able to like hone it in or like avoid using it, and so she comes out as this like not supernatural creature. But the storyline there is inevitably she can't contain it anymore and then uses their supernatural powers, or they just like if they like whatever the like next version of her, they just forget about it. But
what if
I was honestly thinking she was just gonna it was just gonna like I thought it was gonna start with like, oh, she still has the powers, and then it'll be ending with like, see, therapy worked for me, but then maybe it's like a therapy worked for me, I twitch,
that's the sense that I get.
What if I wish I had my tinfoil hat within reach. What if this is all a product placement for like one of those like app services, like a BetterHelp or a Talkspace? Like, don't go to in-person therapy. This is what happens. Do it on the app because your therapist won't have to run out of the room after.
That's
after
funny.
Gosh, if WWE does a storyline where like therapy helps, God bless.
But you never know. One day, I think one day we'll see it. Not today.
I don't know. But we also got a stunning main event match here. We got Bianca Belair versus Liv Morgan versus Doudrop in a triple threat #1 contenders match with Becky on commentary in a hideous outfit. The jacket was amazing. You said what?
Those are some pants, Becky.
Thank you. I was like, you gotta pick one or the like one or the, like the jacket was amazing.
Yeah.
The pants.
A choice.
They look like they're like from these are pants that are in like an elementary school play production. Like these are the pants we have, so you can wear these.
I wonder if she like split, like if she had like leather pants on in the back and like accidentally like split them, and they're like, quick, get Becky some pants, and it was just like this.
I like the
they like
John
called Sabu or something.
Yes,
these are some Sabu
pants. The top, the shoes, those are coordinated. It is the pants that are the glaring problem. So like they've had to be
comfy.
She doesn't care. Big time Becky. These glitter pants can't be comfy.
Yeah, it's just the glitter.
The shoes,
sequined.
the jacket.
Yeah.
Just the pants.
Do you think that she's just like covered in glitter now? It's been like 5 days, but
very Elton John-esque.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but so she was on commentary. The match between Liv Morgan, Doudrop, and Bianca Belair, my God, it was so good. Like that was a really good match. I mean,
barn burner, as some would
show
say.
up. Yes, exactly. Show up, ladies. And I saw a report like earlier this week that Doudrop and Bianca Belair were originally just gonna go like when their feud first started, they were only supposed to go 5 minutes to fill time. And Vince was so impressed by what they did, it became a longer feud and gave them the rest of the 3 other matches or whatnot. So like they impressed them so much, and that's why they've been taking up TV time. And we love a good mid-card feud. We said that here, but
this is the main event of the show. I mean, I know Raw is kind of like funky because it's 3 hours, and the main event isn't always the main event. But this was fun. This was good.
This was and dang it! One of the listeners, I got to pull it up, mentioned to us that like, isn't it great when the women main event and it's just like a Tuesday, like we know it's a Monday, but you know what I mean? It's like not it's not a big deal, but. freaking Doudrop was laying on top of Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
And then Bianca hit a 450 splash on top of Doudrop. I was like, is Liv okay?
Yeah.
Which the camera nearly missed too, which is the fun part about it. Like, I love when you get a spot like that and it's like, where did that person come from? Like, maybe.
Yeah.
But we got, oh my God, beautiful.
So good.
And when has
Doudrop is
Bianca
amazing.
ever slipped up, ever messed up? Like, I know that one day
Did she?
will mess up something.
Oh, okay.
But she's perfect.
Yeah.
She's been perfect. Like,
yes, it's so good. And
I love it.
I'm so happy for Doudrop too, because I was so scared for her with the name change and with Eva.
Mhm.
But heel Doudrop is like money. She's really wrestling as Piper, Viper, Nevin, or whatever. But just under the Doudrop name. And I'm so happy. So Becky interfered, basically took Bianca out of the equation, and Doudrop was able to pin Liv Morgan. Yeah.
Hi,
there we go.
WrestleMania. Hi.
Yeah.
Right.
Bianca, Becky. Hi.
Yeah.
Nice to
Hello.
meet you. Yeah.
Hello.
I mean, if
It's
they rush
happening.
that, I hope.
Oh, no,
that,
I
that
would-
feels WrestleMania.
I
That
think
feels
we
like the
we
Raw
would
side.
probably all bet on, if we were betting people, we would probably all bet on the fact that will happen, especially because
Yep.
we're in eye shot of WrestleMania. It's I guess we're on the road to WrestleMania right
Yeah,
now.
we
are,
always
for
are.
sure.
Especially,
We're
we're
on the
always
first
on the road
stop.
to WrestleMania, even after WrestleMania. So
Have you heard this? I was just in the news. Have you heard that there's a potential name change to the Elimination Chamber? Have you heard this?
Well, we were just talking about there's technically no Elimination Chamber pay-per-view on the road to WrestleMania. It's the Saudi show is replacing the Elimination Chamber.
yeah.
But
Have you heard what they might call the Elimination?
Well, first of all, Elimination Chamber is not a
the
great
match
name.
itself?
They might change the name to the. Apparently, there's some trademarks for the WrestleMania Chamber. Have you heard? Like WrestleMania Backlash last year,
I'm
whole-
done. I'm done.
all of
I'm
WrestleMania
done.
season.
can't.
I can't wait for the
No,
WrestleMania
I'm-
Rumble.
I'm-
I can't wait
don't
for
want- I don't
WrestleMania
want this.
Chamber,
I'm-
WrestleMania,
What-
WrestleMania SummerSlam.
I would walk out
Sorry.
on this podcast, but we just
WrestleMania
started,
Slam.
and I want to talk about everything else.
That's
The
so funny.
WrestleMania Chamber.
Anyway,
That's stupid.
it is, but yeah, I do feel like so we're definitely on the road to WrestleMania. We're on the
Yeah.
road to
You know what?
WrestleMania Chamber. We're on the road to WrestleMania.
And
Wait,
Backlash.
what's worse? What's worse? The WrestleMania Chamber or a pay-per-view called WrestleMania Rewind?
I don't know.
What was that last year?
That's
Like
WrestleMania Backlash.
Backlash.
Backlash, yes.
So anyway, but yeah, I feel like this is Bianca Becky at
You have to.
WrestleMania, but you get a fun little story with Doudrop and Becky in the meantime.
Exactly. And like you can already see the haters coming, because if we don't get Becky versus Bianca, I'm going to be shocked. And it's set up right there. The first two women who have ever won the two main events, like headline,
True.
WrestleMania. And they, come on, y'all. Like it's right there. Like, I don't want to think who's gonna win that, but
you know what?
I'll pay money for it.
I'm just gonna we're not
jinxing people.
No, I'm not gonna put it
people.
out there. I'm not gonna. This match definitely isn't gonna happen, and we definitely don't want it to happen. And
yes,
no, it's the story's there.
It's there. It's right there.
It's so clear that it's going to happen, but like for now, and I like the fact that they're finding ways to take detours, mainly through Doudrop's presence in all of this. So we just saw all of that. We just saw all that with Bianca and them having that great little feud. And now we're getting Becky and Doudrop, which will be a little fun.
And it definitely helps Doudrop. Like Doudrop kept saying, like, why does Bianca get all the, I love that Bianca was still able to win the feud, but Doudrop still ended up getting what she wanted, the shot at the title. So it was like a win-win. And I think Liv didn't get hurt here. She's still really, really over. People still want her to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I could comment on, and maybe it's just because, like, last night I was watching Drag Race. Doudrop needs to work on her fishnet. She has the little holes in the fishnets.
Yeah, true.
Right. It's the cardinal sin of drag. You cannot have
The other fun piece of this is a potential back-to-back Bianca Royal Rumble win is intriguing to me, to be the first woman to go back-to-back. That could be fun.
That would be fun, but I just don't want to see her comments after that because that'll piss some people off.
I don't care about her comments, and I hope she doesn't care about her comments either. Because that would be amazing. They should do it. Like I don't see
interesting.
They could do it. But
see, I think the story is there enough so that it doesn't. She doesn't need the Rumble win. That for me, I don't think she needs that. I think they really need somebody to win to face Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? I think they need.
I think we might have.
I mean, we already got the two. Look, you calm down, Mari. We already have an opponent for Charlotte, which we'll talk. Charlotte, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself.
It. So no one needs to win the Rumble because what's going to happen.
That's right.
But yeah,
or maybe it'll be like maybe we'll see like a double clothesline, double winner situation between the two.
Yeah.
So so Doudrop, congrats to Doudrop. She gets a shot at Becky at the Royal Rumble. I would not be surprised if there's like shenanigans in that match. Next up we had NXT. Like if we're talking about trying to figure out who the A champion is, NXT this week, they were like, let them go. Like they really did just have every single one of their champions just do a promo, you know. Last week we got a question from Edmo. He said, was New Year's Evil closing out the old regime? While Mandy was on NXT for a while and Imperium are the only old school champs, you have Braun, Toxic Attraction, and Carmelo Hayes leading the new era. I mean, honestly, and again, they are very much leading into that. So we got Bron Breakker. He came out, he ushered in a new era as an NXT champion by saying basically he's going to be a fighting champion. I love that they kept it brief. I think we talked about it last week. He came out, he said like 3 sentences. It was under 2 minutes, and I was like, thank you. That's all I needed. That's all I really needed, and it was perfect.
No 20-minute promos, especially on NXT. We love it. But I think the other piece I love about this, actually something that just came to mind for me is that with Bron Breakker, just the way that he talks, like the sound of his voice, the cadence of it, something I find like something to be kind of comforting about it. And maybe it's the fact that
he's a Steiner.
He's a Steiner. Maybe it's the Steiner aspect of it. But like, it's great to see it. And he's the freaking NXT champion, the genetic freak, the big bad booty daddy Bron Breakker. We love it. We gotta love it.
Big bad booty nephew.
I think to Edmo's point, that's true. I think like NXT, you know, the rebranding was, you know, them feeling like there's, you know, I admittedly have fallen a little bit behind on NXT. It used to be something I watched a lot. When I watched this week, like I've been keeping up with it, so like just familiar faces. Like I knew Tony D'Angelo, I knew some of these guys, but so many new faces here, and it feels like a totally, you know,
different show.
It feels like a totally different show, totally new era. You know, that, you know, we could pick our qualms with it. To me, if like I didn't have AEW, I would definitely be feeling the like NXT you know, I think calling it NXT 2.0 is a big disrespect to the reality show era of NXT, by the way.
Let's disrespect that though.
No, Michael McGillicuddy, Eli Cottonwood. Come on, these are gems.
The people that came out of it were gems.
Naomi,
the format itself.
We'll pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah, it was very but it feels like a new era. It's fun. It's good. You know, so yeah.
I personally, and we talked about this before. NXT 2.0 honestly is the one thing that I will sit down and watch when it's on during the week, because it captivates me so much, because I'm huge on character work, and that's a lot of what NXT 2.0 is, and that's what we saw, a lot of what we saw this week, and it just keeps me so entertained. I don't care, I'm sports entertained when I watch NXT 2.0. So I really like this segment here. I love that Bron said thank you to Tommaso Ciampa as well. Like a true fighting babyface champion. I mean, this man is over. He is over. Totally. So and he had a little stare down with Santos Escobar.
Yes.
Yeah, before that match.
I don't know, but I wonder. See, to me, that felt watching that felt more like the thing that we've been seeing in NXT. Right? It just, they have interconnectedness in NXT, that the way that they book things, so that it's like oh, they just passed each other, right? So maybe we'll get there later this year or at some point. But that's one thing I like about NXT is that they are doing a good job of establishing relationships between people better than they do on the main roster. Like in AEW, it feels like everybody knows each other and they're connected. And NXT kind of has a little bit of that vibe of the crossover between characters, which is cool. And it's a good excuse to like have more intrigue. Like, ooh, what is that going to be the next match? Like Bron versus Santos Escobar? Who knows?
I know. And I didn't like, for me, it was so hard to try and kind of pick what I wanted to talk about from NXT 2.0 because I say it every week. I really do think it's one of the better products on now for me. For
you.
So like
for just people.
Yeah, just Santos Escobar versus Zion Quinn.
Yeah.
Over who can leave with Elektra Lopez. Hot people wrestling hot people over a hot person. This is amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I think with this new version of NXT, I know people like, NXT 1.0 and it had this like indie feel to it.
Yeah,
I feel like, it was pretty hot for a while, but like, we look at like a lot of people who came up from NXT and ended up on the main roster. There are not a ton of successes. I would say the successes happened very early on. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn are people who like were able to move up and have some success. But when it really transitioned into feeling like, and kind of like the Johnny Gargano era, not that they didn't really move those people up, but there's, Karrion Kross of it all.
Yeah.
They tried and they moved up. And so I do kind of think it makes some sense. The main product is always going to be Vince's product until he sells or is gone. He chooses to leave. And so I feel like this version of NXT works quite well in terms of I can see, Bron Breakker is going to be a huge star on the main roster. If he doesn't, I'll eat a hat,
Right.
So, yeah.
Some chapstick. We'll eat a chapstick.
Yeah. This is working. This works for me. I think that it feels like a mix of that NXT. It has that indie vibe with main roster feel. So I think it kind of works. Yeah.
I think they really created their own lane. They created a lane where they're like, you know what? Y'all keep calling us a sports entertainment company. You're right. Sports entertainment, Yeah. So I'm just gonna say it again. I've always been a proponent of it. If you cannot compete doing indie style wrestling and your fan base is not necessarily into the indie style, or there's a alternative option where it is available to do the indie style, give them something different. And this is something completely different than what AEW is offering. And that's the beauty of being a wrestling fan, because you can watch both. You can watch both.
But, I mean, just like focusing on NXT as opposed to the comparisons with the champions. The thing I like most that I didn't really think about before this week's episode of NXT was just how there kind of are there are a lot of people making the case for a champion here, and it's not just the men, which I think is nice. And I don't know, I wouldn't mind a match between Mandy Rose and Bron Breakker and Carmelo Hayes.
Yes, Mandy Rose had a really good is like a package where she was taking pictures with her championship. She says she celebrates her wins at photo shoots, and I mean, this is peak Mandy Rose. I'm very happy for her.
It is infuriating.
Okay,
but it's great. We love it. We love it. I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her. I love it, but it's just like such heel work. Like,
exactly. And it's good for her. Like, it's funny. Like, it's funny, but it's funny to me that I'm just like, oh, Mandy, like, you want her to be beat, and that's the whole point. She's a heel champion, and the whole like, I celebrate with photo shoots because I'm beautiful and I'm the best and blah blah blah. And it's very kind of diva era callback. I think this is what Vince McMahon has been trying to do for years and years and years, trying to find that diva star who's been risen. He tried it with Emma and the Emelina thing, and then he tried it with Lana, I think it was. But like, this is what should have been given. This is she's giving what she's supposed to have gave, in other words, as our Drag Race counterparts would say. And I don't like it, but I like it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you. I'm
really
with you.
works.
I was gonna say the same thing. It feels like a callback to like WWE 2006 era, like the women's division. But she's the heel, and she's the only one doing it. Right? It is the problem in 2006 was that the higher ups thought every woman wrestler should be this, and the fact that she's the only one, and she's the champ, and it's infuriating. I think it's like really
it works
well
so well
told. I think it's really well played, and it's good stuff for Mandy, and she's a good worker. So
she's a good worker. Yeah, exactly. So it all works, and I think she's the star. She really is the star. The women's division is very thin, y'all. We'll talk about that later. To me, the NXT women's division is very thin, but she is the one that's actually keeping the glue together. Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane had a package too as well, where it was just them talking over basically their highlights and why they're the baddest women's team there. Again, JC and Gigi don't do anything for me. Still, I will probably always consider them Mandy's lackeys because Mandy is the star. To me, they add to Mandy's star power. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. But right now, Toxic Attraction are the tops of the division, and I'm okay with it until they figure out, what the next step is.
Yeah, and when I even like talk about how like Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction are infuriating, there are like so many quotes I wrote down from this because I could just see like the writers just like salivating over it. So it's like Mandy mentions, I make the women's championship look hot. NXT 2.0 is all about Mandy. Women want to be us, men want to be with us. The typical line, like two women who kick ass in the ring and break hearts outside of it.
Oh my god.
Ask the NXT women's division and the men we've ghosted. Like they just were, the writers were eating. They were eating.
They were.
The editors, they probably cut out so much stuff.
It was so infuriating in a great way. Like it truly was. Like all of those cliches, especially as a woman, you're like, okay, girl. Okay.
That's the part that's like hard to watch, but then when you realize it's like that's their character,
it's really good,
and it's not everyone's character. It's great, and clearly they're the heels, so it works.
It really did. So I love this. The women's champions, both sets, like gangbusters. But the highlight for me had to be Unified Mellow. The unified North American champion Carmelo Hayes, of course, with Trick Williams. Trick Williams is a gift that just keeps on giving. I don't care. I will sit here and talk about how great he is every freaking week. Like when he starts naming what him and Melo go together, me and Melo go together like peanut butter and jelly. I just love his cadence and his talking. I truly, truly do.
Oh, totally.
like they're mesmerizing
Williams
together
and big booty women.
They're good. Yeah.
Oh god, that was so great. So fun. And it's like Trick provides the levity, but Carmelo Hayes comes in with the intensity and like, with Melo can't miss. And then it's just so believable. They're a great pair, and I am definitely excited for what comes next with them because Cameron Grimes, he had a match earlier in the night. It was just like a little squash match. They're clearly building him up. He's saying in 2021 he was going for the green, in 2022 he's going for the gold. And
2022 the moon.
Yes. Oh my god. Cameron Grimes is so weird because when he first debuted, I was like, who's this?
I hated Cameron Grimes when he showed up. I hated him.
The worst.
He was perhaps the most entertaining thing I watched on NXT this week.
I'm telling you, it is so
it's
weird.
Wild. It's
wild. Been a year. It's been a year though since we've had this Cameron Grimes because I think he re-debuted last January.
He got rich because he bought GameStop.
Yes,
and Dogecoin.
Dogecoin, yeah. Doggy coin, I think he called it. Yeah,
where WWE got a reference and used it.
Yeah,
like
right and then ran with it. I'm surprised he still has the money. That's where I've been trying to like do the numbers
calculate in your mind
in my head. I have a spreadsheet where I'm just estimating
the whole thing though. The to the moon, it's so goofy. His little hat, his entrance music is so good. He's so
Shout
good.
Out to Zaya Williams.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah,
it is. And so, and maybe he still has all of Duke Hudson's money.
Yeah,
and when they did that hair versus hair match, I was like, okay, why does he look like a different person with a shorter beard and shorter hair? Why am I looking at this man like, why are you're attractive? You're attractive? And then it like he has to be he has to be like an actor or something, because it's so funny when he does the goofy to the moon, like that whole character.
To the moon.
The moment he stops it, it's like he deserves to be on the cover of GQ. Like, I'm confusion here.
Wow.
And then this spot with him and Mello, Trick and Mello come out to the bins the Bentley they rolled up in, and they asked for the keys, and Cameron Grimes is sitting there on the car with the keys, basically telling Carmelo he's coming for that championship. And I am just distraught because I love both of them, and I don't know if this is going to work. But it was great comedic timing. They worked really well off of each other. And Cameron Grimes, I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't. Wow.
We don't have to understand it. We could just sit back,
just
and
embrace it. Yeah.
So we also got some build up to the Dusty Cup, which starts next week apparently.
Yeah.
Does it? I feel like is it always this early?
No.
I feel like they've never settled on when the Dusty Cup is going to be.
Did they do one last year?
Used to be in the summer.
Yeah, we're about to talk about the one they did last year.
Did MSK win that one?
They did.
No, because they had the women's one early in the year.
And Dakota won it, yes.
And Dakota and Raquel won it.
I think when the Dusty
MSK
Cup first happened, it was in the summer.
It was in February. Okay. It was January to February last year.
Okay, so
this
it was
is around the same time, and the year before. And the year before, it was in March, April.
It originally started in June, though, right?
It used to be in the fall. So.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is what they settled on. Maybe it's here.
It looks like it was the fall, and then it would be around WrestleMania time, and now they kind of push it up to the beginning of the year. So
yeah. So we just got a quick clip of like MSK being really MSK, and they see the Dusty Cup, and they're like, oh, we're gonna win it again, because yes, they won it last year. And then Dakota Kai comes up basically talking to herself. She has to remind herself that she won that last year, because I also almost forgot. Yeah. Like her and Raquel. And MSK did a great job. Their MSK, it was great. I love them. But I need to talk about Dakota Kai, because I am loving this character.
Okay, good.
No, I love it. This slow descent into madness, like we kind of said earlier. I am begging for a Luna Vachon style character from Dakota Kai. I want so badly. And I think she could pull it off. I truly think she could. And I would just love that. I want her to snap, shave half of her head, do the whole bit, I don't care. Still the whole thing.
Luna had not half her head, full mohawk from Luna Vachon, or mullet, full mullet. Yeah.
Wow.
So
this is going to be interesting.
Peaking.
I love Mari. I'm just like plus wanting that, because that would be so good, because I can't really think of, I'm sure there have been other women's characters who've kind of had that like snapped, like girl interrupted type of gimmick, or whatever you would want to call it. But like, not taking it all the way, and Dakota could execute on it beautifully and has done it beautifully as a character. And then putting that on the main roster, I would love that. We need it.
So I don't know. I don't think she was muttering to herself that she wanted to try. I don't think she should team up with anybody. But
she just runs the Dusty Cup solo. That could be fun.
Yeah. We also got a question again last week from Ed Mo, where he asked, who are you pulling for in the men's and women's Dusty Classic? There are no brackets, so anybody goes. We did get some setup a little bit this week. So this week we got Casey Catanzaro and Lacey, is it Lacey Carter?
Caden Carter.
I can never, I will always remember her original name. I don't know why. Caden Carter with an appearance by Amari Miller, who is normally on 205 Live. So the three of them versus Indy Hartwell, Persia Pirotta, and Wendy Choo. So real quick, just talking about the tag teams. definitely. I mean, Casey and Kaden are definitely going to be in the Dusty Cup, and Indy and Persia as well. If I'm just looking at those two teams, I would love for Indy to win it because of course I love Indy, but also Wendy Choo, yo. Like, can we
I
talk
want
about
Wendy
this
Choo
match?
to win.
I know.
Alone.
So this was the 3-on-3 match for the women, and Amari Miller ends up taking the pin, which I'm not surprised because she's like she's the newest girl on the block. But Wendy freaking Choo. So Wendy Choo was the one who was playing Mei Ying in the Tian Shaw faction with Boa and Xia Li. Boa, of course, broke from that. He's doing his own kind of like split personality thing. Xia Li is now on the main roster, even though we haven't seen her in a while. Rumors is she might be injured. I don't know how true that is. But Wendy Choo, who is formerly Mei Ying, who is formerly Karen Q, now has a gimmick where she's been shown over the past few months just in the background of Viginette sleeping. She's in a onesie with like unicorn like eye mask, just sleeping in the background. And she's been in a couple of backgrounds of Indy and Persia stuff, and so now they teamed with her. And I don't know. I want to get y'all opinions on it, but I thought it was amazing. She spent most of the match like on the side, like half asleep.
Was she like sucking her thumb or something?
Something to that effect. Yeah. But she was like, she gets tagged in, yo. She gets tagged in. And all of a sudden, it's like nap time is over. She starts going ham on Amari Miller, like just bam, 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 really quick. Like I think there was a few suplexes in there a few times, and then
belly to belly.
Okay, yes, and then like it was amazing. I don't know. What do you guys think about this gimmick? Because people are already like poo-pooing it.
It's a good little baby. Is it a baby?
Don't show this to Mike Bloom.
Yeah.
No, it's not a baby game. Well, they do talk about Wade Barrett does say in commentary like she might be like kind of young at heart or something. Like that.
So is she a baby or does she have narcolepsy?
Like a teen, I think, is like the
I thought that she just liked to sleep because they were like, is she asleep or is she playing possum?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if I fully get it. It's strange.
Kind of like a Sanrio style like vibe, or maybe I don't know.
I want to like it and I don't like it yet. Like I don't know that it has legs, but I also didn't really think that Orange Cassidy had legs. And I used to watch him in a company called Chikara playing Orange Cassidy, and I was like, this is not good. And then he slowly just found the bits of that stuff that worked. And he's obviously like he's one of my favorites. So I'm not going to write this off after 1 week. I thought like sleeping on the apron didn't really work for me. I don't want to like critique. There's Tony D'Angelo's in this. Like I'm always like his attire of the tracksuit. I'm like, oh, but you got to get real attire. Like wear the tracksuit to the ring and wear real attire. And the pajamas bugs me. It should not bug me. It's totally fine. Wear whatever you want to wrestle. But there is just something about it that like
the onesie
is off to me. So I'll give it a chance. I'm not writing her off yet. I think they clearly like her. They've tooled her with a bunch of different stuff. So let's see.
Which is completely fair. And I guess that's the biggest thing. It's like you got to give stuff at least the room to grow to then be like, okay, this isn't working. I just personally really just liked how like I was like, okay, I don't know what we're gonna get from her, but the juxtaposition of going from like, oh, I'm asleep on the apron till, oh my god, all of a sudden I'm just flying around the ring was just masterfully told for me. So I definitely want to just see more from Wendy Choo. It made me intrigued.
No, I think for me, it's just this. Well, one, I like what they're doing. It's not fully clear what they're doing, but she does seem like a baby. See, that's the thing.
She's not
like
a baby,
me,
man.
I read it as a baby. I'm like, it's a wrestling baby. I hope she's a wrestling baby because I want to be able to talk like that going forward.
She's with Indy and Persia, and Persia, who I would say are more of the. I mean, I can't really get a read. This again, I was like jumping back into a lot of stuff. Like, there's a lot of weird face heel dynamics all over the whole roster. Like Doudrop and Becky, Bobby Lashley is now kind of a face against Brock. They're doing Roman and Seth. So like, I don't know. I this was my first time seeing Persia here, so I wasn't sure. In the last time I saw Indy, she was bad. So are they bad guys? Are they good?
No,
guys?
they're good. They're good guys.
All right.
Like, yeah, Persia hasn't done anything solo. She like debuted as like, oh, Indy is my friend and now I'm here, and so they've been doing like tag matches together, and it's still, the storyline still kind of revolves around Indy, because no matter what, Indy always brings up Dexy. That's why she points to her ring and all of that. But they're good. Like, no matter what, Indy is a good guy. And I did want to bring this up on the podcast. It's like, I'm wondering if because Indy, I feel like, is a star. I feel like, again, they pushed that everybody was so invested in her and Dexter's wedding, and I'm wondering if she's losing steam being in this tag team. But I also think the poor decision of them giving NXT their own women's tag, belts, means that they need to build up that division. And Indy and Persia are a really good team, and didn't they make it to like the semifinals of last year's Dusty Cup or something like that? I can't remember. I don't know. Don't ask me that. But like, I don't think they did. So
that would have been Indy and Candice.
That's what it was. Okay, thank you.
They did.
Candice, thank you.
They lost to Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart last.
That's what it was. Thank you, Matt. So I like them as a tag team. I want more. I kind of want more for Indy. I want Indy more on my screen, actually.
Yeah, and I think like what you're saying is, I don't think that the tag team slows Indy down. I just think that they I don't think they booked her as strongly as they can. And there have been I mean, let's think about this.
She did get the pin here.
She did get the pin here, but there have been so many new characters that have come in since the Dexter Indy stuff really hit its peak, that it just kind of seems like she's fading to the background. I have no clue.
Gosh, I was looking at, Edmund's was like, who do we think in the Dusty Cup? And I look at the women's side. Said there's no brackets. On the Wikipedia, they do have like a bracket outline. I don't know where this comes from,
really?
but it lines up. And the only two teams who are announced for the women's side are these two teams who are in this match, and they're up against each other, it says. And so to me, that I definitely thought Catanzaro and Carter feel like a team that could win and get a little bit of that boost. But if they're up against Indy in the first round, maybe not. But maybe there's some other story they could set up with Indy losing next week. I don't know.
I personally still do not connect with Casey and Caden. Personally, I just don't. They gave them that new dancing gimmick.
Yeah, like the EDM. Let's go to festivals, which is like a weird timing for it. Like, oh, let's go to mass gatherings and super spreader events.
Right,
like,
no, I don't believe it yet. Let's go to mass gatherings, and I still don't believe it yet. I don't, and I'm not sure if they believe it, because I was watching kind of the entrance and it was a little lackluster. I'm like, this is a high energy entrance. You have to.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. But so I don't know. Yes, that Grace makes a great point. If those two teams are against each other in the first round, then I'm gonna need to see who the other teams are, because
what else is I don't
know either.
I don't know either.
Honestly, I'm sorry, Edmo, we can't answer your question, because this is what I was saying, how like the women's division truly is struggling. I can't think of any other women's teams or the women.
So many of the teams from last year are, they're either moved to the main roster or they're gone.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if
Raquel and Cora Jade is probably a team.
Yeah.
Right. That's probably. I mean, it's probably a team. Not
Dakota's. Dakota's going to be in there either alone or with somebody. So I don't know.
Dakota maybe, and what's her name? Well, no, maybe not Kaylee Ray. I was going to say Kaylee Ray.
Oh, Kaylee Ray.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry, we forgot to talk about Kaylee Ray. Yeah, Kaylee Ray after the Toxic Attraction video. Yeah, Kaylee Ray took a back to all that photo shoot stuff, which was really cool. I'm sorry, KLR. I didn't mean to forget you. She's as somebody who didn't watch NXT UK like that, didn't follow it like that, and just seeing some of her matches and hearing so many good things about her, like I just watched some of her matches, seeing her do this, I was like, oh, she's a badass. She's cool.
She had the title for a long time over there, so
yeah, she did.
They like her. They like her, so I'm intrigued to see what she can do. I didn't watch a ton of NXT UK either, so
yeah, I would just watch like certain matches that people would talk about, her and Mako and all that. So
yeah, hopefully we have more excuses to talk about her. By the way, where is Mako Satomura?
Right, I don't know.
I have no.
She's the champ, right? In NXT UK?
She is the champ. Yeah. She just she went up against somebody and I can't remember the name. Yeah. But yeah, so that's for the women's side there. For the men's, we got there's a play-in match. So Joe Gacy and Harland did a play-in match versus Idris Anafe and Malik Blade. And I mean, going into this match, Joe Gacy and Harland had like a full package. Idris and Malik aren't even a tag team. But Idris and Malik ended up winning, and also Malik Blade was like on a losing streak as well, so it was kind of like a big deal that they won and they played in. They will be in the Dusty Cup match. I cannot condone what Idris Anafe decided that they might call their
it is not
team.
their this is Mari disclaimer please. This is not going to be their tag team name. They're not going there. I don't want let's just get through this segment.
Okay.
I don't even know. Was it on the show? Did I miss this?
Oh no,
no. It was on a YouTube. I'm trying not YouTube. I'm trying. It's on Twitter. He tweeted it. So I'm trying to I want to find the tweet so I can
and you know
so
what?
I can get exactly
pull it up too.
what
I'm
says.
I'm happy to share it too, to put up the visual for the people who want to watch on YouTube to see this tweet along with us. I'm also very curious about the comments, which I haven't looked at yet. But yeah, so they went on. They did this wrestling thing. They won this little match. And
they
Mari,
won this little match.
Did you find the tweet?
I am finding it. Okay. I could have sworn I sent it, but I couldn't find it when I went into our group chat.
I think I probably blocked him after that, so maybe that's why I can't find it. But
I see. I see it.
Yeah. Okay, so after the match, Idris quote tweeted the WWE NXT account announcing that they won, and he said, "Let's go! Got some BBCs in the Dusty Cup. Beautiful black contenders." Yeah, and then so he had to send a follow-up tweet the next day because clearly people were like, "I don't know about that, bruh," and he said, "LMAO, that is not the team name. What should me and Malik Blade's team name be called?" And I'm just like,
this is like the thing where, you know, you're coming up, you're just trying to establish yourself, and you just need to like do less because you're just you don't want people. I don't have any. Why? What was the point? Why is he going there? He gets to apologize after.
It was very funny. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it was funny, but okay. Let's see. I'm not even gonna screen share this.
Listen,
I feel so embarrassed for him.
Unfortunately, these guys, I have a prediction that might be some bad news for these guys, which I think whoever they are up against will be taken out moments before their match. And then, we need a replacement. Joe Gacy, Harland. Joe Gacy. Why don't you head into the ring? And then they defeat these guys. I can't see Joe Gacy and Harland not being in this tournament.
Not being in it. Yes, exactly. Especially since they're being pushed.
And they're an actual team.
They're an actual team. I love Joe Gacy. But I don't know if you guys know, but do y'all know that Harland, formerly known as Parker Bordeaux, he is like he hangs out with rappers. Like he knows rappers. He knows real rappers.
I think
like Juicy
J. Know that.
Yeah. No, there was an interview. Okay, well, wait. This is like not to distract from what you just said, but I watched an interview with Eva Marie that was from SummerSlam, and she was huge on Parker Bordeaux. Like, oh, I want to like manage him. I love him. He's amazing. And I didn't know where that came from, but maybe he's a bigger deal than I
well known on Instagram and stuff. And it's so and this is what I kind of hate, because apparently like a lot of people say like he has a very big personality, but You come to DC and you're DC. You come to WWE and you're a big man, and they tell you to not talk, and that annoys the hell out of me. So maybe down the line we'll see. Get more from him
to pair him up with somebody. I mean, over at AEW, like it feels like we're on the verge of a Wardlow solos, and I think that it's the Batista Triple H of it all. Where like,
it is.
Put the big guy with the heater, and then when he turns on him, it's a big deal. So if he's got a big personality, I could see down the line him and Joe Gacy split. So
yeah. All right, we gotta move it along. Yeah, like you said, Grace, Tony D'Angelo and Pete Dunne had a crowbar on a pole match.
It was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah. There was some good wrestling. We can't spend too much time on this, but I just wanted to say my gripe with on a pole matches. If it's a crowbar on a pole match, Tony D'Angelo was the one who pulled the crowbar down, and yet both of them got to use it. So what is the point? I thought as a kid, whoever retrieved the item was the only person who could use it.
Like a paddle on a pole match.
That would make sense, but no, that's not the rule. You just got to get it, and then anybody can use it.
Then why do we even fight before it happens? Why don't we just let one person go up there and get it, and then we can bring it down, and we can both just beat the crap out of each other? I don't understand.
It's the same complaint about a ladder match where you're like, you are full of energy, just run up the ladder, just run, go. Like there's a moment where D'Angelo was nowhere near the crowbar. Pete Dunne is like fully like he's not like weakened. He doesn't have low stamina. Just friggin' run and go get the crowbar.
Yeah, but
exactly.
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, then the fact that the match, like the bulk of the match involved the crowbar, like they had the crowbar. I don't get it. I don't know what the rules of these things are. Like, I don't know why. Is it illegal to go get another weapon that's not a crowbar?
Apparently,
they weren't allowed to use that chair, even though the chair even kind of got used. So well, it was a good win for Tony D'Angelo. And it did end up making logical sense because Pete Dunne, who prides himself on being like the world's greatest technical wrestler, he didn't get out wrestled. He literally got hit in the face with a crowbar.
But he's the bruiserweight. Like he's such an aggressive fighter. And I'd liked that. I mean, this I just kind of felt like was one of those NXT 2.0 matches where you're watching someone grow in the moment, like having Pete Dunne as a veteran. And I know that Tony D'Angelo has like his own skills, but seeing him kind of like show that aggressive side even more than we've seen was nice. This was fun. Just like get rid of the pole. I don't think they need the pole.
They didn't need it. Yeah. But I just thought it helped Tony and it protected Pete.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just take another break for an ad and we'll be back. All right, so it is time for AEW. And this week we asked Grace, what was the storyline that you wanted to talk about here? Grace, can you lead us through it?
Yeah, so AEW, I feel like they had a pay-per-view at the end of the year. They ran some Adam Page and Daniel, I can't say his name, Bryan Danielson, I guess now.
Right, yeah.
They ran a couple title matches, but it feels like they're in a bit of a holding pattern. They have another pay-per-view coming up in March. So there's not a ton going on. I think the CM Punk MJF stuff is probably the biggest stuff at the moment. Feels like they're just going to run CM Punk through all of sort of the pinnacle MJF's thing. But I feel like the biggest story of the week was certainly they're setting up some stuff with Malachi Black and the Kings of the Black Throne debuted. We got the arrival of Brody King, who's a guy who's been in Ring of Honor. I think he's done some work in Japan. Really big guy, has a really cool look, and totally fits in with the Malachi Black. So there's rumors that this is the start of a little stable, but even if it's just the two of them, I thought it was really cool. AEW has signed a lot of people lately. I don't know if we need another one, but at least this one, like they launched him into a storyline right away.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, in terms of Brody King, because I definitely heard of Brody King and seen a little bit of Brody King, but like, do we have a lot to expect with Brody King? I have no clue what to expect other than that this is like a big dominant beast who's able to kind of come in and wreck an entire stable, which is like that's something.
And did they previously wrestle together? Him and Malachi?
No, like unless they did like very previous, they just have very similar looks. Brody King's big thing was he was in Villain Enterprises, which was the Marty Scurll stable in Ring of Honor. Brody kind of came in along with that. PCO, the old Quebecer Pierre, who really just signed with Impact, was a part of that. So he's sort of just been around, and I just think he has this like great look that fits really well. With great Malachi
tattoo.
Black.
I mean, I don't know about great tattoos, but they match.
And they were calling them the Kings of the Black. Kings of the Black Throne.
They've also been called like House of Black, I think, is another
House of Black. Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out, because I was like, oh, they already had a name, so did they already like tag together? So House of Black, I kind of like better, maybe because that's just the throne
less gender too, because you could just like throw in like there could be like a woman, women in there too.
True.
People.
That'd be cool.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot. A lot going on. I actually feel like there's not a ton going on in AEW at the moment. It feels pretty like status quo until whatever they want to decide to do next. I think Jon Moxley was just announced to be returning at a GCW show, a Game Changers Wrestling show, which would indicate that at any moment he could pop back up in AEW. So there's some fun stuff going on. I don't think anything is like headline breaking, like the fact that it's like Malachi Black and Brody King is like where I'm like, that was big. Lends me to believe there's not a ton going on, but
well, we did get a question from Jacob this week. He asked, this slow burn of the Elite versus the Undisputed Era has me so excited for when it actually happens. I've booked this match so many times in various wrestling games over the years. What are you and match dream matches that haven't happened yet? So that's in response to this week on Dynamite. We did get Adam Cole with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly talking about how they are, reunited. The boys are back together. It's a new era in AEW, and how they're like, the best team ever. Of course, the Young Bucks came out and, had a little gripe. It looked like right when the Young Bucks and how you say it, Redragon or Red Dragon?
Red Dragon.
Okay, I always, because
they frame it as the D. The D.
I always want to say Redragon.
Redragon.
But they were kind of going back and forth on the mic, but Adam Cole tried to keep everybody like on a friendship note. They said we're still better than the best friends, the super best friends. Super best friends come out. We get some brawling amongst the men, and then Kurt Statlander came out, and then this drew out Britt Baker to save Adam Cole. So we got Adam Cole and Britt Baker like kissing on camera. So like now it's like, oh yay. So but like Jacob said, this definitely seems like it's definitely a setup for the Elite versus whoever Grace, did you say that they have a name for the former?
So there's a trademark name out there, which is for Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly, which is Paragon.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
It's a word.
It definitely feels like a name that the first few times you say it, you're like, yeah, and then in a year from now, I'll be like, yeah, Paragon. It's just like a perfect diamond. A person or thing regarded as a perfect example of a particular quality. They're the paragon of wrestling.
It is very much a Stella. It's very much a Stella Scuseyou thing to look up the information and come with the answers.
Google it. Google and Grace. Yeah. So I mean, it's fine.
It's not bad. Yeah. It is so
they already
hard
have
to
the
name
Pinnacle
things,
though, which although I don't really think they've been calling them the Pinnacle, that's MJF stable with FTR, Sean Spears, and Wardlow and Tully Blanchard. So yeah, I don't know, Paragon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things you're gonna have to say like multiple times before it sounds right to the ear, but not bad.
Yeah.
So dream matches. So I will just start. And he didn't specify in like what company or what brand, but I think maybe I shouldn't have started because this will flow.
No, you need to start because this is very difficult for me emotionally.
I will always beat the drum of Sasha Banks versus Trish Stratus. That is like one of my ultimate dream matches. That is like my two favorite women's wrestlers of all time, barring rest in peace China, fighting each other. So yes, Give me that, please. Grace, let's give Matt is
I'm like cowering, hiding.
I would love to see Shinsuke Nakamura take on Orange Cassidy. I feel like the two of them, the swagger in one ring, I think would be really, really fun. Yeah, that's a dream match for me. Like, it could be fun.
Matt?
I feel like if I don't say anything, that you'll just move on. But no, okay. So I did literally just came up with one. I'll just say as background, like growing up, similar to Jacob, I used to like fantasy book all the time in games. I used to play this game where like literally it was a text-based game where you just come up with cards constantly. So part of me is like, what matches haven't happened? And I've thought of so many, but one that just came to mind, I would really like peak Shawn Michaels versus Kenny Omega. That would be really amazing to see, just the two of them in the ring and what they would do and accomplish. So I'll give you that. There are too many others. This is stressful. I don't want to think about this.
We don't want
anymore,
you to be.
I love this question.
Yeah,
I might
exactly. And maybe one day we will do some sort of fantasy booking style show. Let us know, send us comments, send us emails if you would like to, if that would be something you guys would be interested. But yeah, that is a conversation that could take forever. So we're going to move on. Another dream match, which is now within reach for me, is Lita versus Bayley. Bayley always talked about how Lita was her favorite growing up. So I think this goes perfectly into our SmackDown portion where, I mean, Lita came out and it was just amazing. She announced her return. She talked about how great it was to be back, how she's going to be in the Rumble. And I'm loving that they're doing this because it's great when the legends show up at the Rumble, but you know, at this point we've had it's been like 4 women's rumbles at this point now, and you know, we're typically getting like the same style of legendary people come back, so might as well have them set something up with them before the Rumble so that it also makes it even more interesting. And this is what they did here, because Lita gets interrupted by Charlotte Flair, the current SmackDown Women's Champion, comes out just to remind Lita that she will be entering the Rumble. When she wins, she gets to pick her opponent. And then she also threw digs at Lita via Trish by saying she beat up Trish.
Yeah, I was there for that match.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was serviceable until Lita went to hit Charlotte with a twist of fate, and
I mean,
it was not good.
To me, the big news of the segment is that Lita's saying she has another run in her.
Yes. Great point there. Sorry, Grace. Yes, Lita said she has another run in her, and it later came out through Fightful. I think it was Sean Ross Sapp that reported it, that Lita was actually in talks to join AEW at one point. Like she was in negotiations. So it does look like she will have a run, which will be awesome.
I mean, I don't know. Will she have a run? We will see. Because I think definitely
WWE is building her up here. It's definitely
still a question mark. She's back. We're getting a build, so it'd be really amazing. But I also, I mean, she didn't have that AEW run, so there, you know, maybe she's kind of like, well, I could do this. I do wonder if they're going to do a run for Lita. This would be phenomenal. Like, she's the first person I wrote down when I thought of a dream match, and I couldn't think of the right opponent for it because there are a lot of options. But looking at, you know, what Sean Ross Sapp said in Fightful Select, that AEW had reached out to Lita back in 2021 to appear on a show, and then the two sides were unable to come to terms, and then basically they pitched Lita to appear in a top program with Britt Baker, BMD champion, for something to happen at All Out 2021. So that didn't happen, but like Lita apparently has been cleared to compete for over 4 years, according to again Fightful and Sean Ross.
Yeah.
So I want it. I want it. Lita's my prediction to win the Rumble. She's been my prediction since last week. Nobody believed it. Everyone thought, Matt, you are wearing your team hat, throw it out. But I'm just saying, I'm letting you know, my winner Lita.
I mean, this has been her. I think this will be her third Rumble.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah, and her and Trish had the match. They had the match against what was it, Alexa Bliss, and back at Evolution.
Alicia Fox and Mickie James, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because Alexa ended up getting hurt. So it was Mickey. Yeah, it was Mickie James and Alicia Fox. Yeah. So yeah, Lita. So Lita has been cleared. This would be great. I really want to see her get a run. I can't imagine her signing with WWE while having AEW on the hook without guaranteeing some sort of run. And I would love to see her and Trish team up. Come back or do some solo stuff again. Her versus Bayley. Bayley has been saying how she's wanted to face Lita. She's been doing a lot of. She was on Twitter last night, talking about it as well. So
I do feel like the one reason why Lita might not win the Rumble is if they want to run Lita Bayley at WrestleMania. I think is
that'd be so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so good. All right. Anyways, but we also got some more development. What?
Wait, I just want to make this point. Like, we've talked about this before. Like, they don't bring back veteran women like they bring back the veteran men.
Yes.
And like Lita's 46 years old. And like, it's pretty awesome that they'll potentially do this. It would be great to see her having that run, because like she would, not to make it about age, because she still looks like the same pretty much, but like this is, I don't know, I'm just happy that WWE is evolving. I'm really happy that they're evolving in this way.
I thought you were going the pessimistic route here.
No, I'm like, God, how dare she? I could never. No, she's amazing, and I love Lita. And I've interviewed her in the past too, and I'll probably like post the clip again because I was looking back at it. But like, she's an amazing person, mental health advocate, animal activist,
of course.
And like it's just nice to see people like that succeed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and of course, Charlotte here thinking she's the A champion, throwing everything around. We got a little bit of a development between the Naomi and Charlotte. They did have a match. Was that like 2 weeks ago or something like that?
Yeah.
Sonya interrupted, was able to cause a distraction for Naomi to lose the title match. Yeah. And so Naomi, we got, it was so good. I don't know. I like this storyline a lot. So we got Naomi in the back telling Sonya, like, I don't know why you have a problem with me. She really wants to beat up Sonya, but she also wants the title. But then Sonya's like, as long as I got this jacket on, you can't hit me. And it's just really funny. And then they have this thing where the air condition or the heat is like up. And I'm like, I don't know if Naomi did it on purpose or anything like that. I wish they would have been a little bit clearer on that, but it was really funny. Sonya takes
Naomi broke the temp.
The temp. Yeah.
What the heck? That's what happened.
Just so Sonya could take her jacket off for 2 seconds, and she's about to.
Wait, she broke it? What?
We don't know. No, I don't think so. I don't think it was implied, but it was pretty funny.
I love the idea that Naomi has like her box of tools. And
it's in the back,
like the arena's engineering room.
Just broke the thermometer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But Adam Pearce was acting like he didn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
The idea, the acting here, they're just like, it's hot in here, right? It's really hot. Yeah, I gotta take my jacket off.
I thought I didn't. I was like, oh, because Naomi, the first thing she said is like, it's cold in here, just like your heart, Cruella. And I was like, oh, that was a good improvised line. And then they came back to it again and again and again.
Yep.
Yes, it was. I love this. I think Naomi is at her best when she's like, mad at somebody, to be quite honest. I think heel Naomi was always her best like promo work, but everything with this her and Sonya storyline, I'm so happy for her. She's finally getting a really good storyline, and Adam Pearce did give Naomi a rematch against Charlotte. So but I think it's for like next week. They didn't. Charlotte is definitely in the Royal Rumble. Yeah,
I don't understand that either. I mean, again, I go back to like, my old days, be like, all the active rosters, should be in the Rumble, or but I do kind of feel like, the champ's in the Rumble. Gosh, I hope she doesn't win.
We've already talked about how I don't like champions in the Rumble. Period.
I'm okay with it,
but it's definitely not Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, look, this feud. Like, do you think we're gonna? Well, are we getting Sonya in the Rumble?
That'd be fun. Eliminates
That
Naomi.
would be fun if Sonya takes off the jacket for 2 seconds to be in the Rumble and Naomi is finally able to get her hands on her.
Well, it's either the thing that Naomi's in the ring and then Naomi gets screwed by Sonya, but also probably gets in there and like beats her up, or the other way around where like Sonya's in there trying to win it, Naomi gets her hands
comes
on her.
out.
I'm glad they found a spot for her. I'm a big Sonya fan.
Yes,
me too. I've been disappointed that she has not been wrestling actively. At least they found something for her, but this tease that might be time for her to return to the ring is quite fun. So
and they've kind of been like teasing with it and playing with it, and I like that they didn't just force it where it's like, okay, you're going to be in the division like everyone else, wrestling like everyone else all the time. Like it's a good story. And then Naomi on the other end of it gives Naomi something really great to do that doesn't just rely on her being a workhorse, because we know that she could deliver in the ring always. And so this is I love that this
is
like,
such a great storyline for both of them.
It is, and it's just like I think I feel like I'm seeing Naomi get better at the promos, like because there was a point where, especially just Face Naomi, where they're like, okay, go out and cut this random promo, where it did feel like it was a little awkward, and now it feels very natural, like she has some edge to her, which is fun. Fun to watch.
And that's why I think that's why she's always asked for like a solid storyline, because whenever she's in a solid storyline, her promos are way better because they're more pointed. Like her and the Paige storyline is what kind of jumped off the evolution thing, and Naomi beating up Paige. Weren't they in London is like one of the best, like when she turned heel, I think it was one of the best things I've ever seen in my entire life. And that Lana feud that she had when she was champion, it never was able to push her past anything because they had them doing freaking dance challenges. It was so I think Naomi's always known that she needs something, like she needs something to sink her teeth into to make it work. And that's why I'm really liking this Naomi versus a Sonya feud, because I think it's making Sonya look so much like, the authority figure everybody hates, and you just can't wait till she gets punched in the face. So, and it's a different twist on the whole authority thing, at least it's, it's not Stephanie, and it's still, it feels real to us Naomi fans. We're like, why do y'all keep her down? So it has all of those really good elements. Some people will never understand this storyline and won't get it, but for those of us who do, it's really good.
For the girls who know. Right? You know.
Yes. And then of course we got Roman and Seth. They did a really good job of throughout the night just building the history of Roman and Seth through the Shield. I was like, how many angles of videos do y'all have where you like conspicuously left Dean Ambrose out? Like, a lot of footage was like,
because that's kind of
John
the best
Moxley.
part, like of the heel turn, just Dean Ambrose's reaction to Seth with that steel chair. That was so great. But yeah, that was actually really impressive on the WWE production team's part.
But yeah, it was a great flashback and just how they've evolved alongside each other, and then it culminated in the promo of them in the ring and basically saying Seth telling Roman he'd be nowhere without him, but then Roman saying that the biggest superstar in Seth's household is Becky. So like it's good. We haven't seen this dynamic where Roman is the heel. I mean, Seth is technically a heel too. Like Grace pointed out, the dynamics are really weird here, but at least it's still different from their previous feud.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Like it's like Seth is on Raw, but he's getting a shot at the SmackDown title.
We don't ask these things, Grace.
They're both badass, but yeah, it kind of the segment. I was kind of like, no, I guess I don't really care. I like Seth avoiding the Usos beatdown, him jumping off the announce table, and it was pretty fun. I thought it was all pretty good. So yeah, it'll be a good match for sure. At the Rumble.
And it's almost sad that this is like a placeholder feud,
right?
In a sense, a Rumble placeholder feud, because this could be a WrestleMania worthy type match, but it makes you feel like they're holding off for something else.
No, that's exactly what I was thinking too. Like it's a placeholder right now, but like they could have so many matches. I don't think that this really hurts too much. Like they could do this again next year and the year after and the year after, and it will still have the history, which WWE clearly is very invested in this history, like long-term storytelling. We love it.
So is it a placeholder? I mean, the rumors of potentially before everything happened with Roman and Brock was that Seth was going to beat Big E. And so is this,
really?
That's a rumor that went out. It feels like Roman and Brock got to stick on it's Fox. They got to stay on SmackDown. But so then like swapping the titles around doesn't really make a ton of sense. But is this not a placeholder? Is Seth beat Roman at the Rumble?
I think it's a placeholder in the sense that if it were the other way around, well, let's say Seth wins the championship and has it over on Raw in this alternate universe, and then Roman still has the championship, but it's feuding with Brock. I guess that's kind of the problem for me. That I still
Brock might have beat Roman at day one.
Maybe.
So is Brock contracted to Fox?
I don't know, but they do. I feel like they are trying to appease Fox far more than they are trying to appease the USA network. Roman just feels like such a SmackDown guy at this point. I guess he could go to Raw, but
no. I
don't know.
The way that he calls Raw the beach.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean,
I love it.
I don't know.
That's really interesting. I mean, maybe some things are up in the air.
I mean, they certainly could just do Brock versus Roman at WrestleMania, but it's just title versus title. I mean, there's been so much,
I do not want that.
People swapping around brands that I could see them be like, yep, this experiment's over again.
What are the chances? Does anybody have eyes on The Rock? Like, where's The Rock?
Where's The Rock right now? we need a Rock tracker app.
I think that is my biggest question right now. Like, where is The Rock?
I mean, I would have. Oh no. Well, oh god. I'm just taken back to like Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Where we really, I mean, it was the WWE's fault. They teased him and teased him and teased him. And I get it's a product placement and they get there, paid a lot of money for that, whatever. But like, are we just not going to get The Rock for like another year and a half, however long? Like, just bring him out. Come on.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for our highlights of the week. I think that was really great. Thank you so much, Grace. As always, you can find the highlights in a week in a very handy dandy playlist in your show notes or show description. Follow along as we watch and follow along as we talk. Hopefully, again, if you were watching the YouTube version, you would have seen Matt pull up wonderful pictures for reference. But today we have something a little special. We have a few more minutes left. So what we're going to do, since Grace is here, we're going to play Wrestling Taboo.
Ooh. Wrestling Taboo. Wrestling Taboo.
There you go.
That's our theme song. Thank you to Matt Scott for recording that.
That theme. Yes. So what we did is Matt came up with 10 taboo cards, and then I came up with 10 taboo cards.
Mari, I just want to acknowledge, and maybe this is the peek behind the curtain, but we came up with we created these cards almost exactly a year ago.
Yeah.
Just because we really wanted to be ready for this taboo game. So
yes. So
I don't know what's on the cards.
Yes, neither of us knows who's on which cards, or even our own cards at this point. But we're going to switch. We're going to put 2 minutes on the clock, and then we are going to give our taboo clues to Grace. So if you don't, they're so easy, Grace, unless somebody doesn't know how to explain taboo cards.
I was just going to say, Mari, do we have to explain what taboo is?
Yes, that's what I was.
Okay. Yeah, Mari, just go ahead.
Taboo is a game where one person has a card and the other person has to guess. In this case, Grace is going to be the one who's going to be guessing. So we're each going to have a card, and the thing is, you're trying to get the person who's guessing to say the name, the action, or whatever at the top of the card. Everything is going to be wrestling related, but there are other words on the card that the person cannot say. So if they say it, then you get penalized. All right.
Okay.
And you have 2 minutes to do it. So you have 10 cards, 2 minutes. And Grace can pass if she wants to move on to the next card. Whoever has the highest amount of points or does it in the quickest time at the end will win between me and Matt, because that's how we're playing. And this is something new. And tell us if you like it when we're done. So
Yes.
Matt, who I can't remember who went first last time for Creator Rhapsler. So I don't know.
Look,
do you want to go second, or
well, I
you look
mean,
like you want to go
I
second?
think that you should go first because but I want Grace when she's warmed up and like ready to do this. Like I don't want
Wow.
Yeah.
I will give you the easy time. Yes. Okay, so Matt, what I need you to do is grab an online timer.
Okay. I'll grab an online timer.
Grab an online timer, and also if you want to, you can bring up your own like cards to try and like keep me honest, to make sure I don't say a word that's on the card.
I have mine pulled up, and I'm getting a timer pulled up.
Okay.
And how much time is it for each? Is it 2 minutes?
Yeah, we decided on 2 minutes. Does that seem too long?
No, that's perfect. I think
it sounds good.
We'll see.
Okay,
we'll see. Cool. We're trying some things out, people.
Yeah.
God, this is the ugliest.
I'm nervous because on the sports show last week, Lavina, we played a kind of a game where AJ Mass and I had to guess the name of hockey players. I was so nervous to do bad, and I did actually very well. And so I feel like the fact that I did well on the hockey one leads me to believe I'm going to not do well on the wrestling one, the one that I like should be much better at. So we'll see.
That's so funny.
This is all over the screen.
Name hockey players. I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done. Like I'm out.
Let's see if we could find a way to.
Matt is playing around to try and get.
I'm playing. Okay, we're just gonna have a massive timer on our screen.
That's fine.
That's fine.
All right.
So I can't kind of see the timer and the card. So just let me know. Say start.
I'll give you a 1 minute 30 second warning there, and then like a 10.
Okay. So
or you know what, Grace, could you give the time warnings as we go along? Is that
she's guessing? What?
Okay, guessing. I'll do it. I can do this.
We need like one other person here.
Yeah. We really do. Isn't that amazing?
Anyways, just count me down to start, please, Matt, please.
Okay. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Wait, I lied.
Yeah, that was weird.
We're gonna start in 3. That makes a lot of sense. Hit the start button. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. What is this about online timers anyway? 3, 2, 1.
All right. So first one is it is an event that we are talking about currently right now.
Royal Rumble.
All right. So it is when a heel elicits an emotion from the crowd.
Heat.
There we go. So when two performers are in a ring and something doesn't go correctly.
Botch.
All right. Okay. All right. One of the original members of DX who has passed away.
China? Rick Rude?
China. Yeah, you got it. All right. So this would be the SmackDown belt. It was originally the SmackDown belt for
Universal Championship.
No,
United States Championship.
No,
WWE Tag Team Championship
in the 2010s era.
Cruiser. No. I think
1 minute.
It was made for toys. Like it was a belt that was made specifically to be a toy.
Spinner belt. No, I think I'll pass.
Okay, we'll pass on that. All right. So it is something that the crowd will yell when certain performers come out on the ring. It's a very common You're on the right. You're on the
30
right
seconds.
road.
Go.
It's a very
Boo.
famous one. Yes, there we go.
Okay.
All right. It's when you're cutting a
Promo.
Yep. So it you can put it in the ring. You're not allowed to have it.
10.
And concerto. Ooh, okay, no, that was
Chair.
wrong.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't do that one.
Yeah.
He
1 second. Done.
No.
Did you,
I'll
Matt? Were you
take it
keeping
out.
track how many we got?
Wait, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
I did. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What was the
6.
belt? What was the
We
toy
got
belt
6.
one?
The Divas Championship. But I
Oh,
couldn't say women, female,
Yeah,
butterfly.
yeah.
That was really
Yeah.
stressful to
That was-
witness.
That was fun.
Okay.
Yes. And
then
then
concerto
I
was
said
the-
concerto, but it was steel chair. So I was like, I don't know if that counts. Yeah. Because
I was worried that these might have been too easy, but I think I might be underestimating this game.
I mean, they're moderately, they're really good. You know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
pick the perfect words not to be able to say there. Matt,
Yeah.
For the the first few
That's
were
the game.
easy, and then you kind of hit a wall when you get to the specific one.
Mm-hmm. The thing that's
All
going to
right.
throw me off with this, and I already know it before I get started, is like literally looking at the words I'm not supposed to say.
Yeah.
I'm
Are
already
you-
at a loss.
You shouldn't be looking at those yet, though.
Oh, sorry. Awkward. All right. When do we do the thing? When do we do this?
All right, hold up. I'm bringing mine up so I can keep you honest
Awesome.
here.
This is a podcast, and we talk.
Yes, it is. I
on
know.
the podcast
We normally
while
talk on the
things are
podcast
happening
while things
sometimes.
are
And
going
it's
good.
funny. There's actually, we don't have any sponsors right now. If you're interested in sponsoring the podcast, go for it. Right now, if you're looking at the YouTube version, 1-800-Flowers.com has an ad. I see something about 40% off.
Yeah,
40%
bouquet.
off, 30% off. So, check that out. But we have nothing to do with that, and we are not endorsing that.
Okay.
Mari, let me know.
I'm
when
ready.
you're ready.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You'll have to control your own timer though.
Yes.
Like in
count me.
starting it.
Give me the 3, the countdown to 3.
Okay,
And then I'll
all
hit
right.
start.
All right. 3, 2,
Wait,
1,
wait.
go.
Oh,
wait.
Hold on. Okay. Cool. Again.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
All right. Weapon. This is a weapon.
Chair, table.
It's what you do with
stick,
it's what you do with
hit.
the weapon you mentioned first. It's like the motion.
Chair shot.
Yes. Yes. Next. This is a wrestler with fire and brimstone. Yes.
Nice.
Okay. This is a person who ninth 1/3 of the world.
No.
Andre the Giant.
No, okay.
No.
We're gonna. I didn't get that.
Keep going.
Sorry.
Keep going.
Like Pat McAfee, Corey Graves,
Announcer, color commentator.
No, but it's like the unit of people. doing
Commentary
it.
team, tag team.
The other words.
I'll take it.
Announcer.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay. Next. This is the guy, like the
John
you
Cena.
can't yes. Okay. Not like in front of the cameras, not in the ring, but
behind the camera, backstage.
Yes. Okay. So
45 seconds.
you could do this in a lot of ways. There's like jackknife. There's
Power
pop up.
bomb.
Yes.
There you go.
This is she's amazing. She was on Smackdown.
30 seconds.
Hall of Famer.
Lita.
Yes. This person. There's so much. He's a
what? Matt?
Hulk Hogan.
Hold on.
The Rock.
Let me regroup myself.
15 seconds.
He like
no, you gotta move on.
The Miz.
10 seconds.
Wait, what's the movie he's in?
Randy Orton. The Miz.
Pass. Not ECW, but
WCW.
Yes.
Stop.
I couldn't think of a Rock movie.
I said
you
The
had
Rock.
already said movie, and movie's on
you
the
said
card.
The Rock? I said
but
the
you
movie
said
though.
movie.
I said movie,
said
so you
movie.
can take that point away from me.
So I will give it to you, Matt. You did great. And Grace, well warmed up. Good job.
Yeah, I was warmed up.
What was the score?
You guys won. I think it was 7. So I think you got 1,
Stressful.
2, 3,
This is
4,
really stressful.
5.
Almost all of them, except for the ones that
6, 7. Yep, 7. Yeah.
I need to catch my breath now. I'm glad that this is the end of the podcast.
Something, Matt.
Yeah. Congrats.
This is stressful.
Congrats,
Mari, I think thank you. Grace, congrats to you because you were
fun.
going to win
amazing.
either way.
Yeah.
You were going to win either way. We'll do that again at some point.
Yeah.
That was fun. Tell us if you like that or if that was just awkward. Let us know. We had fun though.
We did.
Yes, we did. So Grace, again, thank you for coming. Please
thanks for having me.
Plug where the people can find you.
Yeah, so new project. I mentioned it before, the Sports RHAPup. I think that title, we're kind of like yet unnamed, so people have suggestions. But yeah, every week we'll talk about the biggest sports stories of the week. We'll play some games along the way. It should be very fun. The first episode dropped last Monday with AJ Mass and Lavina. It was very, very fun. We talked about week 18 results, played some games, talked about the NHL as it approaches the midseason. So it's very fun. And we'll be back next Monday as well. Also doing lots of stuff over on post-show recaps, covering Euphoria on HBO, covering, we've been doing Daily Yellow Jackets podcast. I almost said Yellow Daily Jackets podcast. Yellow Jackets, very fun show on Showtime. Also doing weekly movie coverage. We'll see if I'm able to make next week's episode. We're going to talk about Scream. Scream 5. So I got lots going on. You can find me on Twitter at @HiFromGrace.
I just watched The Last Duel last night. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty
really
good.
good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Grace, and also my suggestion was Sports AF for the
Sports
time.
AF.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
Sports AF.
My thinking for the show is News AF meets the B&B, but about sports.
Yeah.
So, that works.
Cool.
We could be Wrestling AF. I'll write that down for the
That's actually not that bad. Matt, where can the people find you?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. The people could find me at Matt Scott GW and just follow me, hit me up. I'm on the Twitters. I'm on the Wrestling RHAPup, as you know, but beyond the Wrestling RHAPup. So looking back a little bit, this past week, I actually was talking about the Challenge All-Stars 2 finale on the Reality podcast.
Oh, really? No spoilers, please.
No spoilers, but a lot of fun talking about it. This week, Mari and I are going to be on a podcast coming up called My Weekly Meltdown, talking about in the Challenge universe, Real World, LA, Homecoming, and all that fancy stuff. But the biggest thing I'm going to plug is that I have a new show on Rob Has a Podcast. Woo, woo. It's called Pod Friends, and I'll be interviewing a lot of people, some who are in high demand, others who have awesome stories, who I just want to talk to and find an excuse to talk with. And so I have my first episode of Pod Friends premiering tomorrow. Maybe when you're listening to this, it's already out there. Premiering Sunday, January 16th. I'll just announce my first guest is none other than RHAP's own Taryn Armstrong. And so tune in. Listen, it was a great conversation. Or you know what? I'll pretend it didn't happen. I'll kayfabe it. It will be a great conversation, and looking forward to you watching and listening. It'll be on RHAP's YouTube, where you can find us, and also on the podcast platforms, probably on the Reality TV RHAPups feed, where you could also find us. So that's where I'll be. But Mari, where could the people find you?
Ooh, busy week for me this week. I was just on Renap talking Desperate Housewives season 3 episode 7 with Matt and Akiva at an ungodly hour.
Wait, who with who? Me?
With Rob and Akiva.
Oh, you said Matt and Akiva. I was like, wait, I've almost fallen asleep on some podcasts.
Rob and Akiva need a podcast. Yes. I was on there for my debut on Renap, so go check that out. I fumbled my way through Desperate Housewives, but it was really fun catching up with both of them. Of course, every week here on the Wrestling RHAPup with Matt Scott and any of our great, fun, knowledgeable guests. I will also be on Nothing But Netflix. Yeah, that'll be dropping this week with Rob Sesternino and the great Chappelle. We will be talking about Singles Inferno, a very fun Korean dating show on Netflix that I forced them to watch. And so I hope you guys have been watching too. They announced it last week. So I cannot wait to talk about it. I literally cannot wait to talk about it. I've been waiting to talk about this show, and I can't wait to hear Chappelle and Rob's takes on it, because it's amazing.
Wow.
And then, like Matt said, we will be on my weekly meltdown talking all thing Real World Homecoming LA. We are going to get into that. So that's going to be a special episode. Go check out my weekly meltdown. We can't wait to talk to Allison and the gang over there. So other than that, I mean, also I'll be on Pod Friends at some point, of course.
Oh yeah, I mean, just something to put out there. Like, you could assume that everyone will be on Pod Friends at some point.
Yes.
It's just all a matter of timing, and I'll make a habit of like announcing who's going to be on the next episode on here. So good reason to tune into the Wrestling RHAPup. But also, I meant to mention, follow at Hey Pod Friends on social media to keep up to date on that stuff. So
yes,
Mari will be on soon. Grace will be on eventually soon, as soon as we schedule too many amazing people to interview. So
and if
we'll get it done.
Yeah, and when you want updates on where we're going to be at, you can follow me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. You can find Matt on Twitter at Matt Scott GW. There you go. And I just want to remind everybody, Drag Race is back, and of course that means so is the Drag Race recap on reality TV RHAPups, or your Drag Race feed. Of course, it's hosted by the wonderful, fabulous hosts Liana, Amon, and Beth, and each week they discuss all the lurks, the drama, and artistry of season 14 of RuPaul's Drag Race. If you're gooped, gagged, or gobsmacked, never fear, because they got you, hunty. All right.
Yes.
So yeah,
gobsmacked. Gobsmacked.
So
and I'm loving the new season. I'm loving the new season. Tuning in.
Same.
You get cornbread. You're getting a lot of other magic. It's great. So I love like being able to walk through the show and what we just saw, especially as we start the season with them. So Beth, Leon, and Amon are amazing, and we're so happy to call them a RHAPup. They're in the RHAPups family. What else could you ask for?
And so again, don't forget to rate, subscribe, and review. Please hit that subscribe button for the Wrestling RHAPup wherever you get your podcasts. You can go to Rob has a website.com/wrestling feed to subscribe. And as always, remember, wrestling is for everybody, but not all wrestling is for everybody. Have a great day.